Good morning, Brand Rising to you. Welcome back to another Commercial Trucking Chronicles. I'm your boy Swizzy, back with another video. Guys, it's Sunday. You know, how is everybody doing today? Right? Um, I know it's difficult, but it's a blessing to be up. But each day we face new challenges. Invite those challenges because it makes you strong, right? It makes you stronger. Now I get fed up. I get tired. There's days when I'm just, oh man, I don't have it in me today. But you got to find it in you, man. You just got to. Um, Clear your head, take a walk, uh, grab a pad and a pen and write down some of your thoughts. It's just one of the things I've been doing. I wrote some stuff down, went back and read it, and I was like, yeah, I hope nobody finds this. You know what I'm saying? But it's crazy to think that all the things that are going on inside of our heads, if you stop and give some time to it, and you really dig deep down, where is all of this coming from, right? Where are all these thoughts? A lot of them come from emotions. A lot of them come from external influences. Things happen and then things start weighing heavy on your mind because you know a phone call, um, a post on a social media. I just uninstalled uh, a couple social media apps off my phone because I really don't. I don't want that. I don't want to be feeding my conscious or my subconscious a lot of what's all of the um distractions, and there's a lot of just evil out here, you know. Um are you guys that are in relationships and stuff like that? Hey, how you doing? Hi, good morning. Appreciate the like, you know. Um just good morning, Sammy Fan. Got some more people in here. Florence Jumas, how you doing? Good morning to you. Grand Rising. Appreciate you guys giving me the likes and coming up in here this Sunday morning. Um, like I said, you could, Elijah, good morning. You guys could have been somewhere scrolling on some social media or something, and I appreciate you coming over here and checking out, the video. Listen to me rant anyway. Talk about what it is that's on my mind. Hopefully you can hear me. If you can hear me, okay. Thanks for the likes. If you can hear me, okay, because sometimes I look at these videos and it's kind of muffled. Um, all right, great. Thanks, Sammy. I appreciate it. Um, so, like I was just saying, I just uninstalled a couple of the social media apps off of my phone. I keep the YouTube because I put the content out there, but a lot of the stuff that will come across my feed, and I'll ask myself like, what is this all about? Where is this coming from? But there's so much going on, and people are posting so many things. It just, for me, it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming because I try to get up and start my day on a positive note, and it's tough. So you really want to try to guard your peace. You see what I'm saying, with everything that's going on. And I just got like even with relationships. If you're in a relationship and stuff like that, like sometimes you're with someone and it's kids, family life. Everything is pressure, pressure, pressure. Depending on the age, of course, because sometimes the little kids, they could do no harm. They're so innocent and such a blessing, right? Because their laughter and things like that is so innocent. Like the rest of the world can't even touch that. You know what I'm saying? Where people want to create content and be funny. There's nothing funnier than a child You know what I'm saying? A child's laugh. Or if you can laugh with a kid, laughing with children these days is something we don't even do because everybody's so busy. They're so, are so uptight about everything that's going on. And I'm like, I understand that. But to take a step back and get into my own thoughts without so much distractions and stuff like that, that's becoming more and more and more important today for me because it's, I need that peace. I have to get ready for work on Monday. I don't need a bunch of extracurricular what's going on coming across my feed, you know people crashing out because this, that, or the other, you know in reaction to those things. Well, I'm not saying disconnect from the world and not stay informed, because we need to stay informed. But a lot of the information that's out there is pretty. Some of it's biased. Some of it is, one sided. But who has time or energy to be trying to figure or decipher all of this stuff out? You see what I'm saying? Like, so I'm just saying today, like, basically for me, it's really important that I just kind of sit somewhere like here in the car. I went to go get a cup of coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. I'm sorry, from McDonald's. I was so upset because I couldn't get a cup of coffee in under 20 minutes, bro. I was like, dang, this is crazy. You can't even, you know. He says, yeah, you're right, man. I'm going to follow you. Yeah, people put things in their mind. It be extra. We all got to move forward and collect to be, yeah. Because our pieces, you know what I'm saying? Our piece is priceless. It's something that we can't allow um, others to control. So if we keep that peace within, and the best way I find, you just got to stay away from places. Like I went to McDonald's. I didn't expect to get so up in, caught up in their, confusion that was going on. All the people standing in there, and I didn't even get caught up in that. I just wanted a cup of coffee. So it only cost $1. I just left and went somewhere else. Good for you for finding your peace, and don't compromise it for no one. It's not worth it. You know, people will circumstances are always going to come. And a small circumstance can make a big impact, right? But people will try to come into your life to disrupt your peace. They're not trying to pour into you. You know what I'm saying? They're just trying to see what they can, what kind of a rise they could get out of you, or um, just to see if what do you how do you handle how can you handle their chaos? I was like, you could miss me with the chaos because I don't have time for anyone's chaos. I don't have, you know. I'm quick to walk away these days, man. Where at one point I was not being persistent, but I used to um, feel like I have to kind of like not prove a point, but stay at it, stay the course, right? Because even though I know what the outcome is on the journey that I'm on, like it would you when you're interacting with other people and not just kind of falling back and remaining quiet, you know when you're engaging, sometimes you are going to be conflict. You're going to, unless they got the same energy and on the same path as you are, you're going to run into conflict, and conflict breeds confusion and disorder. And You can see that out here in the world everywhere. You can see that all on every social media site, disorder, conflict, and all of that stuff. Like for me, I'm just tired of it. I'm very, very, focused on myself. I have a lot of stuff I want to do, and I'm sure a lot of you do. A lot of you guys, you do. You haven't given up, and I encourage you not to give up. Just kind of like edit some of the things in your life that have no place there, right? If you need a canvas, a fresh new canvas to start, you can turn your life into like a masterpiece. It's your work. You put it in the work. These other people are not putting, they're putting in work, trying to distract you, trying to take you off your square. All right. Trying to see, if how much time you gonna pay them attention, and there's really nothing there. It's just, how like when something don't have real purpose, it just kind of lingers, right? When something has no real purpose, it's just lingering around. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. A lot of us are awakening to, you know, what's happening out here and stuff, right? Um, but you got to stay anchored. We got to stay anchored. You know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, to our belief systems. You have to stay anchored to, a lot of things. All right? I can go on and on. Like you really got to stay, you can't be like a ship without a sail and you just kind of depending on the tide. That's the direction you're going to go in life. You see what I'm saying? And um a person that doesn't have ambition, a person doesn't have goals, if people, like you have to have strategic uh plans. That's why I say write things down, you know. But then like I said too, I wrote some stuff down the other day and I went back and read it and I was like, oh damn, you know. Um but and this isn't like we're waking up or see, for a lot of us, we've already been in this fight. We've been fighting for so long, and for some of us, they're just waking up to the reality that, hey man, it's 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 getting thick. Things are thick, right? Because now there's no fallback on, and you got nothing to fall back on. There's no how I say it? There's really little to no um real support, and everything is just like paper thin, right? Everything is like really paper thin. Everything is artificial. You know, that twinkle in your eye, that little glare is gone for a lot of people, right? They ain't got it. They losing. They losing, you know, they it's like LL Cool J said he was riding the back of the bus. Then the grip slipped. It had a grip, it was holding on. Then the grip kept slipping. So for a lot of people, man, But I would keep it personal. I did go get my coffee. I left on McDonald's because they were taking too long, and I went and got a cup of coffee up the street. They had decaf, and I went and grabbed it. I was in and out of there in all of 5 minutes. I had time to have a conversation with the lady at the checkout because I told her, so I just stood over here for 20 minutes to get a cup of coffee. and it was getting underneath my skin. It was really getting me a little upset. Like, yo, what the freak is? What's so hard about giving me a cup of coffee? So, but in my mind, some things could or should be so easy in life, man. And I don't know, man. Out here, man, today people are just waking up to the fact that it's not easy. It's not easy. It's a challenge. It's very difficult to just you know make a simple purchase because you got to interact with too many. And I don't use the kiosk thing because I rather interact. You know what I'm saying? See, I rather have the conversation. But some people are under the gun so much they can't perform well in those type of environments where there's you know uh, a lot going on, and so you don't get the best of them. You're lucky if you get the bare minimum. Here, take this and go. And this is not how people deserve to be treated. And this is what a life is taking shape. This is how it's all taking shape out here because everybody is really really under their gun like that. So you know they're just not giving the best of themselves. And then so where's the support there? Like where's the that doesn't encourage people to be like, you know what, I'm gonna try and be, something like this guy. You have a conversation with somebody, say, man, I talked to this dude today and he was so inspiring. And he was, had some struggles he was dealing with, but also had a clear account of those things that he was dealing with and a plan to take and make a positive change in that situation because he's staying focused despite everything else. People ain't staying focused, they're just crashing out and pretty much you know lashing out, crashing out, and putting all of the blame on somebody else and not taking accountability. That's all that you see going on. And I know there's a lot of people struggling because of the you know job loss, um, job loss, whether you know it's a government job that was shut down, funding cause a business to go under. They can't get funding from, say, a said bank or a lending institution. And, they're supposedly trying to lower rates to make it easier to access funding. But then I just heard something that the branch of the government that allows the banks to to offer funding. And I don't understand how that works, but most of these big banks are in bed with the government. So if the government cuts them down, because they usually get bailed out, they're FDIC insured, so that they're not insured at this point. A lot of them, only certain ones, because they said only certain banks are going to get the bailout. Only certain ones will get bailouts. So they're cutting back on allowing banks to lend. And I understand that that's creating a problem, an even bigger problem, because without that funding that's critically needed, more doors are going to close, more businesses and things are going to have have more financial challenges. Then that means that how you doing, sir? How you doing? Silence. Selena's family. Selena's family. Selena's family. Good morning. Thanks for joining me. I'm glad you're doing well. Yeah, I'm just was saying that so there's more and more and more challenges in the financial sector, and that makes it hard for everyone. So you know, and we can't worry about these things. We have to just hold on. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you. I hope you are too. I'm doing well. But I appreciate you asking. Like I said, I'm just here trying to give you guys, a little bit of encouragement. Sometimes it's all we need, just a little bit of encouragement, right? We don't need to be around a whole lot of people, but the few people that we might be around, if they can only encourage, you know, send words of encouragement and blessings, it could make or break someone's day. So that's my whole point. We can't not take our eyes away from, because I said don't disconnect. And I mean, I would not encourage people to just because they're in a situation because of some kinds of challenges financially to disconnect because I see it going on, man. I mean, I don't say anything, but I see a lot of my neighbors, different people. I know they're going through stuff. I know it, and my heart kind of goes out to them, but I kind of stay, I try to stay neutral. I try to stay in my, stay in my own space and try to just, you know, continue with what it is that I'm doing that's going to, work, work things out in my situation. My situation is, I'm blessed, I'm fortunate, you know, um, because, I've taken accountability. I'm very, very, disciplined, within myself, within a lot of areas of my life. So I don't really, I don't feel the effects of a lot of stuff. Okay, I appreciate you for subscribing. You have a great day. Come back, check the video later. I mean, might be some jewels in here that might be something that you might want to share with somebody else, so you could share the channel, or share the page as well. So, but boom, boom. I like that. Excuse me. But I think I think that what we really got to do is we just got to try to stand together on some things. If we can't if if everybody is overwhelmed, we need to find something that's what I'm saying, that is going to help us to get some peace, man. You know what I'm saying? Money is not everything. I know. I see people, man. Look, there's some nice cars out here. I know people paying big money for these cars and stuff like that. They let the car, you know, kind of give them a false sense of, you know, um, accomplishments. I mean, when it's paid off, then I feel like, yeah, you accomplished something. But I know I went through a lot paying this truck off. My Chevy, this is a 2500. I had this truck for about 12 years now. I don't want another truck payment. And this is a reality in today's world because funding, like I said, they cut you know, it's hard to get, as hard as it is to get approved for some money or funding or loans and stuff like that. Well, I don't think the car dealers are going to be giving cars to people like that no more. They can't give them away. They can't sell them. Um, that's crazy too. It's a lot, man. This is, man, every day is something. Every day. That's why I said I took a lot of stuff off of my daggone phone, some of these apps. And this stuff is going to allow me to free up some of my uh you know there's a part of my brain or part of my mind where is reserved for like peace, rest, laughter, um um gotcha. So that part of my brain where, you know, it's it's reserved for those type of feelings and emotions, joy, laughter, even sorrow, right? Actual real feelings that I would be able to display at any given time, um, because of a particular circumstance. But now it seems like, we're just numb. Oh, even fear, right? Now we're just so much. I think it's like we're just so much at a point where we're numb. We don't have the people have grown very numb to a lot of things, violence being one of them. Laughter, people don't laugh. It's not a genuine laugh. That fake ass, man, go ahead with that. It's not even a real laugh. The kids laugh. A child can laugh and you can tell that he's sincere because they're tickled. They're tickled. If you tickle a child, you can hear him laugh. That's a real laugh coming from their emotions. You get older, you can lose that. Not that you do lose it, you can lose that. But that's because of outside influence. I'm not trying to live my life like that. So a lot of these outside influences, I'm dead in them. I don't need that stuff to just be bombarded into my brain or into my subconscious. So now in my mind, you know, I ain't really dealing with my own emotions. I'm just kind of like going off of what I'm seeing and like not knowing how to react to it. Cause you trying to process it. I gotta process it. You don't have to. A child won't have to process whether or not they're happy. As soon as they see something that makes them happy, like a loved one or a parent, or even their bottle or their passy bobo or whatever, they love that. They're happy. They could put that smile on their face. Um, but a lot of times now in today's society, it's hard to just come home to, what I'm saying, a household and there's that energy in there. You know what I'm saying? Because especially, I mean, if you got little ones, that's why I said before, and it depends if the kids are little. You know what I'm saying? Because all they want to do is just run up to you and give you a hug or whatever the case may be. If you got older kids at home, well, a lot of them, you know, they're overwhelmed if they're in school, if they're working, if they have responsibilities like a phone bill or a car note or car insurance, you know. And these young folks are, they're home living in their parents' house, and they got too much attitude. And every time you see them, they got their feelings all over the place. Mad or upset or drama from a co-worker or drama from, like, I have my own dramas. I have my own stuff that I need to be, you know, I need to be taking an exhale and relieving myself from. And so another thing with this whole waking up thing is, I don't say waking up thing, but it's like, oh, James, you waking up? Man, I've been on it. One thing I've been doing too was, I'm not gonna lie, all right, accountability. Looking at my accountability when it comes to how I will deal with a situation, right? Uh, you know, I if you don't want to face a situation head on, but you know you have to, a lot of us will try to deal with it a different way. I mean, I don't know, does that make any sense to you? Does that sound like it makes sense? Like, I mean, I know people that, you know, in a situation where, you know, and I've seen it. I've seen it. Get off of work and they know they're going home to an abusive relationship or whatever, and so um, on their way home they make a stop somewhere to get something to kind of take the edge off, or kind of you know drown themselves in a bottle or something, and then go home and then deal with the situation. A lot of us have grown up in households with that type of you know um, environment where you may have witnessed a family member come in the house, or a parent or something, um, after work, and they just can't do much. They just gotta stumble over to the bed because they're too intoxicated, and they just you know, fall out and then get up the next morning and do it all over again. Rather than come home and be present and be uh, not just there in body, but be present, like be actively engaging with other people in the house, at the house, or just you know, living together, so to speak, right? And you have people that they don't even remember that they done went off on everybody. So that accountability, when you realize and you see what you were doing and how went around the whole issue of uh, engaging, or you know being responsive to people that are directly in your life. um, when you take a look at that and you see that you've either been neglectful, you know, you've been irresponsible, or you've been, kind of cold-hearted. Um, you can't blame anybody but yourself because your actions, but you have to think, like, what influenced that. There's other influences outside of, a lot of times, whatever the problems are that are at home. Could be from, I got to deal with all this at work, then come home to this. And nobody wants to do that. No one wants to go through hell and all of that on the job every day. And then they come home and have to deal with that from the kids, because kids can be the problem. You should have moved out. You should be, taking care of your portion of the bills, or like some stuff. There's so many different cases. It's case by case by case by case by case. There's so many different things. And I always think about stuff like that because, I sit down and write down stuff and be like, what would a person do if this was on their plate? Because I can handle this, but I don't think I can handle that. What would I do? Or what would someone do? And so, just having those collective thoughts, when it's time to meditate on stuff. But the peace comes, the inner peace and all that stuff comes when you acknowledge it, and you acknowledge these things, when you take a real serious look at those things and say, hey, I have to change these things. And regardless whatever these outside influences or these things that are going on in society or things that are going on out here in the world, you know, people think they've lost their minds. They really would lose their mind if they see you do a total change. They're like, what? This dude don't this no more? They don't that no more? Are you serious? That's that's recovery. That's when a person is really in recovery. Like you've recovered. It's gonna be hard for a lot of people to reach that point, like of having that, because um it's almost like they're not letting up out here, man. Things are gonna get harder and harder and harder, and with it just being so hard, you know what I'm saying, you either gonna have to say, look, I'm gonna fight a good fight, and I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be successful. I'm going to make sure that I can continue, to thrive and not throw in the towel. You're gonna have to, or you're just going to just let go of yourself, let go of everything. And I've seen that happen. I've seen people go that route. I don't care anymore. I seen a friend of mine, and I don't know what happened to this person. I don't know what happened to this person. I can only look at them and say, you know, I'm reading the facial expression now. I think poor choices definitely play a part. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like we really got to be accountable. Oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. You really got to be accountable, man. So, even with waking up and every day and reaching for the phone to check and see, what's on the feed. Man, I don't want to see none of that crap. It's just like when I go to the store and I get to the store, I don't want to have to deal with, these people are all crazy. Like, you standing there too, like, I guess I look just as crazy as them because I'm here, you know? And it's sad. It's just like, okay, when do we have a day of rest? When is a day of rest? Um, some guys are exposing a lot of what's going on out there on the social media. I can do it. I don't do it, but I have to learn how to do it, to add these little clips and things, or bring in, you know, uh footage, like share my screen to show other, instances or other people's posts. I haven't learned how to do that yet, but it helps to kind of bring a topic, bring about a topic of discussion. Because if you say, okay, well, here's an example right here, and then you'll see it. And a lot of people do that. A lot of people do that if they're very, 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 savvy with their computers and stuff. They're able to do it. And so the content that they're going to bring you is an extension of something that they've seen or they've viewed that's out there, that's trending, or that's circulating on different platforms. But I don't care for a lot of that stuff, to be honest with you. I mean, whatever the topics are, yes. But sometimes, like, here's for instance, right? This is a prime example of why my piece up here, what I'm saying, is something that I'm very, 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 um, very focused on trying to keep, right? I have to keep my piece, and you have to learn how to keep yours too. And that means if you got to cut people off, cut them off. And that's not nothing new. People probably been telling you, look, you need to let go of some of these people in your life. You know what I'm saying? Um, so I'm in a group text, right? I don't like group texts at all. I ain't never liked them. Never. I don't like group texts. I ain't never liked them, and people put me in them. I ain't asked to go on nobody's group text. I ain't, hey man, can you put me in there? I want to know what y'all talking about. I don't give a damn about what you're talking about. Miss me with that. You got my number. If you want to call me, and that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? Half of these people I wouldn't even give my number to. Seriously, right? So something crazy comes across the group text, and then there's always somebody in the group text that's always talking like, like they can't, they can't be touched. The one with the most mouth. See how that right there just disturbs people's peace. I don't even want to read this. Then I see this. I'm like, man, I'm like, what the freak, man? This mom crazy. And so for that reason, I had to block some people. You know what I'm saying? Out of my phone and stuff like that. And same way I, uninstalled certain apps. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to be bothered with this crap. Like you got me. I'm not one of those people that participate in that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I've always been the type of person that kind of stayed to myself. I had a small circle of people. We doing our thing, and we don't need no new friends. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And if we do happen to kind of, connect and it's genuine, then it's different. That's different. Other than that, don't put me in that stuff, man. Please, man. I don't feel like I'm better than nobody, but I am better than a lot of this other crap that is going on in this daggone chat or whatever. Because I don't even know how you got my number. Lose it. Just to keep my life simplified, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to complicate and complex, make things complicated for me more than it already is. I have to deal with, adult kids. I have to deal with, a lot of things in my personal life and stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, I have to deal with, working, and making sure that I'm doing, what I'm supposed to do. Uh, so I don't have to feel that, my job and things like that are, what I'm saying, could become compromised and stuff. So, and that's enough, man. You know what I'm saying? That's enough. So at the end of the day, I still want to have enough energy to be able to get off of work and still feel like, I still have, the rest of the day, possibly, a little time to go, maybe an outdoor activity if the weather's good, after work. Um, when my kids were younger, I would go to their support them in sports. So you do that after work, and some things that are just becoming of a a well-rounded you know social life. You know what I'm saying? Volunteering at something somewhere, and that's what I'm talking about, man. Those things give you a sense of, um, you know you have a sense of morality that gives you a good feeling, much like attending, a graduation, somebody you're proud of. You see them accomplishing things, and then you're there to give them their kudos and show them some support. Like showing up for people, like it's kind of hard right now for people to kind of get out and do stuff like that because a lot of people are just living in fear. And so, I, I, I just encourage everybody just to, try to find something that's going to be conducive to, living a peaceful life. Um, I know there's a lot of protests, and they call them peaceful protesters and stuff like that are going on. A lot of that stuff, I get it, but I'm not a part of anything um, like that. Like I just, you know, I rather I rather show up somewhere like at a food pantry or something, and help pass out food and donate and stuff like that. That's me. I've done that before. So, um, work volunteering at like the, you know, at a food kitchen or even volunteering at convalescent homes or something, doing stuff like that, man. These are the things that really do make a difference. It's not all about money. And then I'm gonna tell you another thing. Me, I don't know about you guys. I don't really need much money at all to get through Monday through Friday, um, week to week, month to month, and stuff like that. I've really like downgraded a whole lot of how I spend money, and if I'm not buying if I'm not buying assets that are going to give me the financial freedom, that I deserve and I work hard for, if I'm not investing my money these days, I very seldomly spend it. There are repairs and stuff that I have to get done, to a couple of vehicles that I own. Um, that's that's different, right? Those things gonna need to be maintained. So, um, but I'm definitely very frugal. I'm very frugal. Oh, you got it. You got deep pockets. Yeah, well, I got short arms because I ain't coming out of my pockets for nothing. For you, no one. You know. So that's the truth, man. But nah, my passport came. I think I might have told you guys it came. So I'm actually saving up to be able to kind of make some kind of an exit. If all else fails, it's adios, amigo. See y'all later. You can stay here and deal with that crap. So that's where I'm at, and it's just in planning, man. It's all in planning. It's all in planning. So I've been looking, and day by day, step by step. You know what I'm saying? There's no real big, no urgency right now. I already have it, so there was that urgency to get it. So I do have it. Now there's really no urgency to plan to travel. However, um, I have the passport, so I will be doing some travel, and you guys can come with me. I'm bringing to places where you may have never thought even existed. You know, so. But for the rest of this day today on Sunday, man, it looks like clouds are trying to roll in. I gotta get ready for work tomorrow. I'm gonna wash my truck and get myself ready. I maybe work out a little bit later today, and that's about it. Uh, a homeboy of mine come up on my page. He left his name. He said he was up here, Swift. I said, "What? How did he find out that I had this page?" So, shout out to you, Swift, if you watching me, man. What's up, man? It's good to hear from you, brother. I know he's a hardworking man. I mean, I think his birthday and my birthday was on like either the same day. I know he's in September, but he's right around my birthday. I think his birthday and mine was on the same day too. One thing about it, I give it to that kid, man. Swift is a real. He's he's real talented, real motivated, and really he's not. He's he ain't gonna let opportunity get away from him. Not the Swift I know. So and shout out to you, man. It's good to see that you was up there, man. Appreciate you subscribing to the channel, yo. So I'm a wrap the video, man. It's like I don't really have much to really say much more. Like I said, man, I done down. I mean, not download. I uninstalled some stuff so I can get back to business, and some of these distractions. It's bad enough. You got everything in what's happening in this country is as a distraction. But then you don't. I don't need anything else to really that stuff. Really, I already know what their agenda is and where it's going, right? And people are going to really freak out when they see what's next. I'm telling you what's next, right? Oh, your phone died. Gonna die. So I'm gonna come back when it's charged. Okay. Speaking of phones dying, I think my phone's gonna die too. It might. I don't. Nope. Actually, this thing's got a full charge on it. But I'm not gonna be up here too much longer. I'll probably go for another 10 minutes because usually it's about an hour and I cut it. So, um, but what's next? I think on the agenda with this administration and what's going on in this country, the handwriting's on the wall. If you don't see it, right? This is what's it all about. This is always there's a lot of noise going on and all this other stuff, but underlying or underneath it all, right? They're gonna be. This ain't gonna be in circulation no more. I'm gonna show you. Oh damn! Oh, I ain't got money. Well, I'm holding on to this, but there's that those seals. You see that seal over there and that seal over there? This is they're gonna mess around. See that thing say have 3 letters. I'm not gonna say the 3 letters. They're gonna be digital. That's what it's all about. That's where this is all leading. Because when the this is when people are really gonna lose their minds. They're really gonna. You think they're losing their mind right now? Man, when they yank that bad boy right there out of circulation and ain't nothing else popping, and they tell you, oh, there's no kings, no authoritarian. Okay, listen. When they tell you that this is the new what it is, everybody's already on board. All of the institutions. Remember, they ain't asking for your permission or my permission to change the economics. You know what I'm saying? The financial landscape. They ain't asking for our permission. They ain't asking for us to vote. Well, would you like to have a $5 or a $10 bill with his face on it? It's just going to happen, and you're going to have to either accept it or just, crash out. So that's when everybody really gonna lose their mind. When they make that big announcement that, hey man, this ain't no more. Right? And this is coast to coast, not just, what I'm saying, 1 or 2 states over. Coast to coast. Right? These guys already got they already applied for that banking license. And it's a global thing. It ain't just setting up a bank on one side of town. So remain humble and remain, remain peaceful in these times. Because this is just doing the shift right now. That's why it's so chaotic and crazy. The shift gets crazy. The shift gets out of, out of the realm of reality. It's that big, like, because for most of us, our realities are small. You know what I'm saying? Some people can't even fathom the type of, money it's going to be made or that's being made. So that's it. All right. I would encourage you to just go ahead and maybe take a step back from a lot of this stuff that's on the net or the web3, whatever. I would I'm not saying disconnect from society. Don't watch and be, watchful and prayerful and mindful. You know what I'm saying? You have to do those things. You got to stay prayerful. You have to pray. You have to, you have to fast. We have to fast. We have to pray. We got to refrain from certain things out here. And the internet is one of them. Like some of the social media stuff, refrain from it because it's too many spins. It's too much. Is that my daughter? My daughter going to school? She? Oh, that's on her. Excuse me. You gotta refrain from anything. Anything that's oppressing. Separate yourself from it. Anyone who is oppressing, separate yourself from it. Any thoughts that are oppressive, separate yourself from those thoughts, that thinking. And so that you could begin to heal, so that we can begin to recover, you know what I'm saying? So that we can begin to rehabilitate our state of mind and our physical. It's a mind and body, and then there is the soul. And we haven't gotten to yet. But all this will lead you to having a purified soul. Your soul can be made pure, right? So that means you may have to stop the drinking. That means you may have to stop, don't smoke. I'm glad I gave up smoking cigarettes years ago. 3 years ago. But it's so much easier for me to take on other challenges and to stop doing other things, alcohol, I try to use not as much profanity, I don't vape, So there's just there's always room for some growth. And so we can, we can do it. We know what I'm saying, we can encourage each other. We should be out here encouraging each other. And that's where I'll leave it. I'll leave it there. Like, yo, if you see somebody that might need some encouragement, man, just give them a small little bit of encouragement. You know what I'm saying? Or, don't go overboard, because you can't force people into, a place where they're not comfortable. Some people are not comfortable making changes and giving up things, but encourage them to do it anyway. I'm your boy Swizzy. I appreciate you guys for checking me out, coming back here, viewing. My new subscribers, there's much love for you. I appreciate you. You're always welcome here. Leave a comment, leave a like, share the video, and I'll check you out on the next one. Peace out. Y'all have a blessed day.